Reports emerged that the US might be trying to get a runway for its warplanes inside northern Syria.
They told me, yes, we have to help, but why in our backyards?
After clashes between police and anti-migrant protesters, we hear from some Dutch people who say they're not against migrants as long as they're not in the Netherlands. Former British officials who ran the country's bombing campaign of Libya admit they did not predict the creation of a power vacuum which would be filled by Islamic State. Your world news live from Moscow. This is RT International. And we start immediately with Syria, where the UN's confirmed ISIL has killed a large number of civilians in the city of Deir ez-Zor. Reports suggest Islamic State slaughtered up to 300 people there, though the number cannot be verified. Heavy fighting in Deir ez-Zor has now been raging for at least 5 days. And the Russian Defense Ministry stated its air force targeted the incoming terrorists and eliminated at least 60 of them. Russia may soon no longer be the only foreign force operating from a base inside Syria. According to some media reports, it is claimed that US specialists are working to rebuild an abandoned airfield in the northeast of the country. Our correspondent in Syria, Murat Gazdiev, has details.
Work on it apparently started in October. We know that it's being built, according to our information anyway, that it's being built at the site of a former rural airfield that served the agricultural community in Hasaka province, that's northwestern Syria, near the border with Iraq. We're hearing that they're very close, or perhaps have already finished paving the runway. It's now long enough, according to our sources, to accommodate fighter jets, for example. We also know that US citizens, foreigners, were there supervising construction of this new airbase. We first heard about all of this in December. We went to senior Syrian officials. We asked them what do they know, and we've had no indication that anyone asked for their permission or anyone gave them the details. So we went to have a look ourselves.
This territory is controlled by Syrian Kurds, the YPG, and it took us a while to find out the details. We approached senior YPG officials here in Hasaka province to comment on this matter. First, they feigned ignorance. They said, what base? This is the first time we hear of it. But as we talked, eventually they somewhat reluctantly and indirectly perhaps admitted that there is an airbase or something being constructed here.
Now, to clarify the reports coming from different sources, we turned to the Pentagon, but a spokesman would neither confirm or deny the claim. Though speaking earlier to other media, the very same Pentagon official firmly rejected the allegations. However, the fact the US is working with the Kurds against Islamic State is giving rise to certain questions. Murat Gazdiev has more.
We know for a fact that the YPG Syrian Kurds, the Syrian Democratic Forces that they're part of, are very close. They're allies of the United States. We know the United States is carrying out airstrikes on behalf of the SDF, of Syrian Kurds. We know they can even direct airstrikes. We know the United States has been supplying them with ammunition, with various military gear. And there's even been evidence, photographs, for example, of United States Special Forces embedded with the YPG, with the SDF on the ground in Syria. So clearly, you know, they'd likely give the United States permission to construct this airbase. So, again, we've had no indication at all that the Syrian government was ever asked about this. So that would make constructing this airbase a violation, potentially, of Syrian sovereignty.
Well, we spoke to Philip Giraldi, a former CIA military intelligence officer. He believes that without any permission from Damascus, the US will have to justify the building of any new airbase in Syria.
There's without a doubt that the constructing an air base in Syria, which is still sovereign Syrian territory, is clearly illegal. I think the United States will rationalize it by saying that this is a temporary base, an emergency base that will be used basically to get military supplies into the Kurds and as an emergency landing place in case an American aircraft gets damaged or something like that. There'll probably be a way to finesse it. It's not going to be a full-scale airport or anything like that. But again, this is an illegal action to create a problem. If you have an American base in Kurdish territory, it becomes a target specifically for ISIS.